Okay, listen up. Death Note isn't just some highbrow battle of wits between a guy who thinks he's God and a detective who's basically a professional weirdo. Oh no, my friends. Death Note is a masterclass in how one bad decision, like say, picking up a random notebook, can spiral into an all-consuming obsession with power, death, and trying to kill people without leaving a trace. But at the heart of it all, it's a comedy. You just don't know it yet. Let's break it down, shall we? 1. Light Yagami, the self-proclaimed savior, who also thinks he's God. Light Yagami, oh boy. Light is what happens when you give a smart, morally questionable high school student the power of life and death. Sounds like a good idea, right? Well, wrong. Instead of saving the world, Light becomes the most self-righteous, delusional savior ever. Here's the twist. Light isn't doing this because he's some altruistic genius. Nah, he just found a death note and decided, hey, what if I played the world's most messed up game of Monopoly, but instead of property, I'm collecting people's souls? Honestly, he's like a weird combination of a control freak and a toddler with a god complex. He really thinks he can eliminate all crime, but in reality, he's just eliminating his own chances of getting a good night's sleep. Pro tip, if you're creating a utopia where you rule over all, maybe don't let your ego drive the bus. Spoiler alert, it crashes. 2. The Death Note, the ultimate cheat code to fix your problems. Let's talk about the Death Note itself, the holy grail of power, right up there with finding the remote after you've just sat down. The idea is simple. Write someone's name and boom, they're gone. Light, being Light, thinks, hey, I'll just get rid of all the bad people and make the world perfect. What could possibly go wrong? Spoiler alert again, everything. What Light doesn't realize is that the Death Note is like giving a toddler a loaded gun. It starts off innocent enough, he gets rid of a few criminals, but then it escalates. It's like giving a kid a candy bar, and next thing you know, he's asking for 100,000 candy bars and wondering why he's sick. The Death Note isn't just a tool, it's a metaphor for too much power. It's the moral equivalent of thinking you can eat an entire pizza and not feel bad about it. Spoiler, you will. 3. L, the eccentric detective who's got the weirdest hobbies. Enter L. He's a detective who says, I'm not weird, you're just boring with every eccentric quirk he has. This guy solves crimes while sitting like an awkward penguin, eating cake like it's his only food group, and making everyone around him question reality. What's his big thing? Oh, just solving the biggest case of a century, catching the guy who's randomly murdering people by writing names in a notebook. But let's be honest here, L isn't just obsessed with Light, he's obsessed with winning. He's playing the intellectual equivalent of chess while Light is playing checkers. L isn't trying to save the world. He just wants to prove he's smarter than Light, and who can blame him? Light's arrogance is basically a target for anyone with a decent brain and a love of drama. But hey, at least L isn't out here murdering everyone who disagrees with him, right? 4. Misa Amain, the ultimate stan who needs better life choices. Misa Amain is like that friend who stalks your Instagram and leaves 50 comments on your post and hopes you'll notice them. The only difference, she's doing it with murder. She gets the Death Note and becomes a full-on Light fangirl. She's willing to do anything for him. She's like, oh, you killed my parents' murderer? Here's my entire life and soul in exchange. Yeah, that's not weird at all. What Misa really needs is some solid therapy. Maybe a good, long vacation. Because by the end of it, she's so obsessed with Light that she loses all sense of reality and any hope of having a normal life. She's essentially the textbook definition of codependent, with a dash of I'll murder for you if it makes you love me. 5. Ryuk, the Shinigami who's just here for the drama. Ryuk is a Shinigami who drops the Death Note into Light's lap, and to be honest, he's probably the most sane character in the entire show. He doesn't care about justice. He just wants to see a bunch of chaos unfold, like a viewer in the world's most messed up reality show. Imagine if a bored teenager dropped a notebook into your life and just watched the drama unfold. Ryuk, he's that guy. It's like giving a dog a squeaky toy and letting it tear apart everything around it. Ryuk just vibes. He's the ultimate neutral observer, and let's face it, his only concern is that Light is just too damn entertaining to miss. Who needs to worry about moral dilemmas when you're just out here watching someone spiral into madness for kicks? Classic Ryuk move. 6. The moral of the story. Power, ego, and really bad decisions. Alright, here's the big takeaway from Death Note. Power? It'll go straight to your head faster than you can say world domination. Light thought he was doing the world a favor, but in reality, he was just a really smart guy who got way too cocky. Remember that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, Light never heard of that one. The truth is, when you play God, you forget that you're human. Light's downfall isn't just about getting caught. It's about his inability to see that what he was doing was no different from what he hated in the first place, making the world bend to his will. 7. Conclusion. Justice, ego, and that sweet, sweet power. Death Note isn't just about killing people with a notebook. It's about the consequences of thinking you know what's best for the world. Light may have started out as a hero, but by the end of it, he was just another villain in a game of intellectual cat and mouse. The moral of the story: don't trust someone who thinks they're smarter than everyone else, especially if they have a magic notebook that can end your life in a heartbeat. Also, maybe don't date people who are willing to kill for you. At the end of the day, Death Note is the perfect blend of intellectual battles, moral dilemmas, and a whole lot of chaos. So if you ever find a Death Note lying around, well, maybe just don't pick it up, okay? Unless you're ready to play a very dangerous game of who's the real villain now.